Hello and welcome to this Thursday edition of the World Report. I'm Arjun Samar Bahindran, and here's what's making headlines around the world. Now viewers, a diplomatic clue this Diwali. Prime Minister Modi has thanked U.S. President Donald Trump for his warm festive wishes and a phone call that in fact touched on key bilateral issues as well. Now in a post on social media platform X, the Prime Minister expressed hope that India and the U.S. in fact continue to illuminate the world with hope and, more crucially, stand united against terrorism in all its forms. President Trump, meanwhile, marked Diwali with traditional lamplighting at the White House, surrounded by Indian-American members of his administration. Now, just before the ceremony, he confirmed his call with PM Modi, saying it focused mainly on trade. Now, Trump also repeated that India would not be purchasing significant quantities of Russian oil in the future. Listen in to Trump's remarks, followed by my colleague Priyanka Deo.
Americans, let me also extend our warmest wishes to the people of India. I just spoke to your Prime Minister today. We had a great conversation. We talk about trade, we talk about a lot of things, but mostly the world of trade. He's very interested in that. Although we did talk a little while ago about let's have no wars with Pakistan. And I think the fact that trade was involved, I was able to talk about that. And we have no war with Pakistan and India, and that was a very, very good thing. But he's a great person, and he's become a great friend of mine over the years. In a few moments, we'll light the Diya as a symbol of faith in the victory of light over darkness. It's a beautiful term, light over darkness. That's what it's all about. It's knowledge over ignorance and good over evil.
I mean, this was the White House Diwali celebration, so a little unsurprising, but Donald Trump once again spotlighted Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as you heard, just calling him a great person and a great friend. The U.S. president used the holiday in a really wise way, politically strategic, to highlight U.S.-India ties, saying again that he had spoken with Modi and even suggesting that India would not be buying much oil from Russia. Now, that's more rhetoric than reality, if you can say. The MEA has neither confirmed nor denied it, but what it does enforce and reinforces India's growing role in Washington, D.C.'s strategic narrative. So within hours, PM Modi publicly responded on X, thanking Trump for his warm Diwali greetings. And he also said that the two great democracies will continue to illuminate the world with hope and, most importantly, stand united against terrorism in all of its forms. So it's a message of alignment. It's a subtle reminder that security cooperation remains at the heart of U.S.-India relations. And meanwhile, the other important thing here to consider is that Trump confirmed that his planned meeting with Vladimir Putin in Budapest is off for now, saying that he does not want a wasted meeting. So in one day, Trump has extended warmth towards India, set conditions with Russia, and also signaled that his brand of diplomacy will be measured strictly by leverage and results. So we will see. But what we can see is that U.S.-India are on talking terms. They both respect each other, which gives the signal that talks are ongoing in a positive way.
Stay with Washington, where U.S. President Donald Trump has in fact said his plans for a swift meeting with Russian leader Vladimir Putin is on hold. Why? Because he doesn't want it to be a waste of time. In his words, it was the latest twist in Trump's stop-and-go effort to resolve the war in Ukraine. Now, the decision, very interestingly, viewers, to hold off on the meeting in Hungary's capital, Budapest, which Trump had announced himself last week, actually was made following a call Monday between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov. Trump's hesitancy will likely come as a relief to the European leaders who have accused Putin of stalling time with diplomacy while also trying to gain ground on the battlefield. My colleague Vishal Vivek gets us the latest, but first, let's listen in to what Trump said.
The meeting with Vladimir Putin is canceled or put on hold. Do you know what happened there, and does that affect your decision whether or not to send Tomahawks?
No, I don't want to have a wasted meeting. I don't want to have a waste of time, so I'll see what happens. But we did all of these great deals, great peace deals. They're all peace deals. They're agreements, solid agreements, every one of them. But this one, and I said, go to the line of battle, the battlefield lines, and you pull back and you go home and everybody takes some time off because you got two countries that are killing each other. Two countries that are losing 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers a week. So we'll see what happens. We haven't made a determination.
So this seems to be, in a line of flip-flops that Trump has, showcased in the last few weeks. He started off by saying that both the sides need to hold the ground and need to, freeze the lines and the conflict needs to stop. And then he moved on to say that Ukraine needs to cede some territory to the Russian side. And now he has said that Ukraine cannot, in any case, win the war. It doesn't see that in the foreseeable future because he had in the past indicated that he believes that Ukraine could win the war. So this is, a series of flip-flops, as I mentioned earlier, and it also goes to show that the deadlock has, solidified in the last few weeks rather than, sort of melting down. Because we saw that during the Alaska talks, there was, many positive signs, as Trump had mentioned, that the war could be coming to an end. But that doesn't seem to be the case because Putin seems to be taking him for a ride and he seems to be rebuffing Trump every now and then. We've seen repeated attempts by the U.S. administration to bring the war to an end, but that has not happened. And as I mentioned, it doesn't seem so in the near future. And on the other hand, the European leaders who also are trying to, play a background role in this conflict, they are, hoping that Trump will be on their side. They are praising Trump in a way that he is trying to bring the conflict to an end. But as I mentioned, the deadlock continues and the war is nearing its 4-year mark now and close to 1 million people could have died. And as I said, the future does not see really good, does not hold really good for the both sides.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump has stated that Washington would in fact continue with its plans to impose a 155% tariff on Chinese goods imported into the country beginning the 1st of November. Now this despite expressing his desire to maintain amicable ties with Beijing. Responding to a question whether tariffs would indeed be considered on China, as they have been on Russia's largest oil importer, India, the U.S. President said right now, as of November the 1st, China will have about 155% tariffs on it. I don't think it's sustainable from them. Now, Trump said while he personally wishes to maintain friendly relations with Beijing, years of one-sided economic dealings have in fact left the U.S. with no choice but to take firm action. Here's more.
Russia remains China's top crude oil supplier in September. Are you considering tariffs on China?
Well, I mean, you read the same papers as I do, but I don't have to read the papers because I'm the one. Right now, as of November 1st, China will have about 155% tariff put on it. And I don't think it's sustainable for them, so I want to be nice to China. But China's been very rough with us over the years because we had presidents that weren't smart from a business standpoint. Some were good politicians, some weren't even good politicians, but they allowed China to take advantage of us and every other country.
Kabul has dismissed Islamabad's allegations that India played any role in recent clashes between Afghanistan and Pakistan. Now, in a recent interview, Afghanistan's Defense Minister Mohammad Yaqoob, to be precise, said Pakistan's accusations are unfounded, illogical and totally unacceptable. He also stressed that Kabul looks forward to strengthening ties with New Delhi within the framework of our national interests. Over in West Asia, Israel said earlier this morning that the remains of deceased hostages handed over by Palestinian militants Hamas from Gaza on Tuesday night have been identified as Tamir Adar and Ari Zahimovic. Now, 38-year-old Adar was a farmer and a third-generation member of the kibbutz Niroz. He loved hiking and spending time in nature with his kids. He was also a member of the kibbutz emergency first responder team and left his family in their home's safe room to help defend community when Hamas attacked on the 7th of October 2023. In the last message he sent to his wife before he was killed in the attack, he wrote, "You don't open for anyone, even if it's me asking you to open." Over in Western Europe, according to a French prosecutor, the jewelry stolen from the Louvre Museum in Paris is estimated to be worth a whopping $102 million. That's correct. Now, this comes as the search continues for the stolen treasures. Paris prosecutor Laurent Becou told French radio station RTL that the value of loot taken in Sunday's brazen daylight robbery, I should say, has been estimated by the museum's curator. The second night of protest took place in Dublin late Tuesday near an asylum hotel where police arrested 6 people, a broadcaster Sky News reported. Now, the broadcaster also said a police helicopter, a chopper as it's called, was targeted with lasers and one police officer on the ground was also injured. Meanwhile, bricks were thrown and fireworks fired outside the City West Hotel in Dublin. It reported Commissioner Justin Kelly as also saying this was obviously not a peaceful protest. The actions this evening can only be described as thuggery. This was a mob intent on violence. Over in Peru, the president has declared a 30-day state of emergency Tuesday in the capital Lima and the city of Callao to tackle a wave of crime that has not stopped despite 2 other eerily similar states of emergency declared earlier this year. Now, in a televised message, viewers lasting less than a minute, Jerry said that he was beginning to change the history of the fight against insecurity in Peru and that the new state of emergency presents a new approach where the country is moving from defense to offense. Now, the state of emergency also curtails certain constitutional rights. These include the mass gathering unless they have permission. Listen in.
Compatriotas, la delincuencia ha crecido de manera desmesurada en los últimos años, causando un enorme dolor en miles de familias y perjudicando además el progreso del país. Pero esto se acabó. Hoy empezamos a cambiar la historia en la lucha contra la inseguridad en el Perú. El estado de emergencia aprobado por el Consejo de Ministros entra en vigencia a las 00 horas y por 30 días en Lima Metropolitana y el Callao. Y presenta un nuevo enfoque. Pasamos de la defensiva a la ofensiva en la lucha contra el crimen. Una lucha que nos permitirá recuperar la paz, la tranquilidad y la confianza de millones de peruanos. Las guerras se ganan con acciones, no con palabras. ¡Viva el Perú! ¡Viva!
A rare tornado tore through another in Paris suburb on Monday, viewers, killing 1 person and injuring 4 others. It's also uprooted trees and damaged property. Meanwhile, the town of Vermont, around 20 kilometers north of capital Paris, was one of the hardest hit, but the tornado caused damage in various other regions as well. Staying with France, former President Nicolas Sarkozy arrived at a Paris prison to begin serving a 5-year sentence on Tuesday. He was convicted of a criminal conspiracy to finance his 2007 election campaign with funds from Libya. That's correct. Sarkozy is in fact the first ex-leader of modern France to be imprisoned. Now, on his way to prison, he said he's an innocent man being locked up in a statement released on social media. Kasmo.
What you see behind me are the walls of La Santé prison, where Nicolas Sarkozy has just arrived. He's the first former French president ever to spend time behind bars. He's starting a 5-year sentence for criminal conspiracy, accused of overseeing a scheme to take money from Libya to fund his 2007 campaign. Now, he denies it all, has appealed. Technically, he's still innocent in the eyes of the justice system until his next trial, but judges said the case is serious enough that he should stay in prison for now. His lawyers say they will file a request for release as soon as possible, and judges will then have up to 2 months to rule on it. At 70, Sarkozy's being held alone for security reasons. His lawyers say he packed sweaters, earplugs, and plans to write a book while inside.
We shift our focus back to West Asia, where Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei is now facing rare public embarrassment. Viewers, why is this happening? Because a scandal involving one of his top aides' daughter's video has gone viral on social media. This next report, in fact, tells you all you need to know.
A white low-cut strapless dress. bareback gowns and veils. Sounds like any other wedding in the West, right? Yet this wedding has ignited fury in Iran's hardline Islamic regime, known for its draconian hijab laws for women. A video from 2024 shows the daughter of an aide to the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei wearing a plunging strapless wedding gown has gone viral, with Iranian activists slamming the double lives of elite officials in the country. Ali Shamkhani, a longtime ally of Khamenei and a military commander, is one of the strictest enforcers of Iran's strict hijab and public morality policies. Yet ironically, when it comes to his own wife and daughter, the rules no longer matter. The setting, a lavish Tehran wedding at a luxury hotel, with Shamkhani himself walking his daughter down the aisle, his wife by his side in a revealing blue lace evening gown, with both women not wearing a hijab. In fact, it was Shamkhani, the former head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, who was behind the brutal crackdown on the anti-hijab protests that erupted in 2022, after the death of Mahsa Amini. Amini, a 22-year-old woman, died after being beaten by morality police for allegedly not complying with the hijab rules. Amini's death ignited global outrage and calls for justice. But for many in Iran, justice still feels distant. While Shamkhani accuses Israel of leaking the video, it has reopened deep wounds in Iranian society, exposing the glaring double standards between those in power and the people they govern. For a regime built on control and conservatism, the veil of moral authority is now slipping. NDTV Bureau Report.
Welcome back. You're watching the Wednesday edition of the World Report with me, Arjun Samar Mahindra. And we move on to updates from the world of technology and business, where in fact Airbus has said that it has opened a second assembly line in China, increasing manufacturing capacity for its best-selling A320neo family of single-aisle jets. Now the new line, in fact, completes a jigsaw of 10 global final assembly lines that Airbus says will involve a production drive, including 2 each in the US and in China. OpenAI has unveiled ChatGPT Atlas, a long-anticipated artificial intelligence-powered web browser built around its popular chatbot in a direct challenge many are seeing to Google's Chrome dominance. Now, this launch, viewers, marks OpenAI's latest move to, in fact, capitalize on 800 million weekly active ChatGPT users as it expands into more aspects of users' online lives by collecting data about their browsing behavior. It could very well accelerate a broader shift towards AI-driven search as users increasingly turn to conversational tools that synthesize information instead of just relying on traditional keyword-based results from Google, in turn intensifying competition between the likes of OpenAI and Google, as we're getting to learn. Now, Daniel Naroditsky, a chess grandmaster who started as a child prodigy and quickly became one of the most influential American voices in the sport, died Monday. He was just 29 years old. The Charlotte Chess Center in North Carolina, where Naroditsky trained and worked as a coach, in fact, announced his death on social media, calling him a talented chess player, educated, and a beloved member of the world chess community. The cause of the death was not immediately known or made known. Meanwhile, Naroditsky became a grandmaster, the highest title in chess, by the way, aside from the world chess champion, at the age of just 18. We get you more.
The global chess community is mourning the death of Daniel Naroditsky, who died on Monday at the age of 29. Daniel was an American chess grandmaster who started winning international tournaments at the age of 12. He's credited with really helping usher in the digital era of the game by live streaming his matches to thousands of viewers and providing live commentary that really made the game accessible to everyone. Other grandmasters have said he's one of the greats and that he will be dearly missed. A cause of death was not immediately stated.
Director Scott Cooper said art matters when it risks everything. That's correct, which is one of the reasons he in fact chose to avoid a straight biopic and made his latest film about Bruce Springsteen focus on just a few years of his life and a career, in fact, in making the Nebraska album. Now, Jeremy Allen White plays Springsteen and had to learn to sing like the boss and also perform before a live audience, in fact, playing the guitar and harmonica believably. White says the guitar was the biggest challenge he's ever faced in his career so far. Here's more.
Guitar, just because that was so foreign to me. I'd at least, I've spoken before, I haven't sang a whole lot, but I understand the concept of singing. I've been a fan of music and singers, but the guitar, I remember holding it in my hands for the first time and trying to wrap my fingers around the right strings for the chords, and it just feeling like completely alien to me. And it was such a humbling start where I was really like, I have no idea how in 6 months I'm going to be playing anything that sounds good at all. And but like anything or any skill, it's just time and repetition,
Diane Lane, Madeleine Brewer and Zoe Deutsch attended the New York premiere of Anniversary on Tuesday. Now, Lane spoke of contemporary relevance of the tense thriller about a family pulled into chaos by a rising political movement called The Change. Now, the story intensified when Lane's son begins dating her former student Liz, which is in this case played by Deutsch. As Liz grows closer to the family, hidden tensions erupt, threatening to tear them apart, just as the country faces growing political unrest. Listening.
And the longer I sit with it, the more I think about just how directly there are parallels. If you just take Anna, for example, Anna is an incredibly outspoken, intellectual, razor sharply witted comedian. And as we've seen with Jimmy Kimmel, there is even making light of a tragedy. That's the thing about Jimmy Kimmel. He did not make light of a tragedy. He remarked on the right's response to that tragedy and their willingness to kind of co-opt it for political gain, which I don't disagree with. Maybe that'll get me canceled. She doesn't want me to answer that. I'm just kidding. You're like, but I think that's a lot. That is something that is a direct correlation that we can make, as well as Anna being forced to leave the country for her outspokenness, for her free speech. And I think that if you can't see the parallels, you're not paying attention.
And well, a baby elephant at the Oregon Zoo had more tricks than treats when handlers gave it a small pumpkin to play with during an annual fall event where giant elephants, in fact, smash half-ton pumpkins. Weighing just 775 pounds, 8-month-old Asian elephant Tula-2 is about to be heft of one of the giant pumpkins, too small to smash them just by the way. But zoo handlers, viewers, they gave her a small pumpkin to practice with. Instead of squashing it, the little elephant dribbled the gourd around like a soccer ball, a video from the zoo shows. And well, that's all the updates we have this Wednesday for you at The World Report. Take care and have a wonderful day.